Greetings, family. My name is Queen Taese, the founder and CEO of the Liberated Minds Black Homeschool and Education Institute. And it's such an honor to be here at this conference for the powerful cause of our beautiful African children. And so at Liberated Minds, what we strive to do is to leave you feeling higher and inspired on your mission, on your divine purpose, right and exact in center of what it means for this African liberation, for this liberation lifestyle, for the awakening and the sustainability of our African families and our youth. And so one of the things I want to speak to you about today is the importance of us detoxifying from our own indoctrination as parents, right? When we talk about educating our children and really allowing them to living a life where they're attaining their dreams, living in their divine purpose, and actualizing their African excellence around the globe. We're talking about really getting into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to raise a child who is happy, healthy, who knows their self-identity in alignment with their own divine culture, and just, what it means to be African, right? And so one of the things I want everybody to think about is a mission statement. And that's one of the things I always start with because, we have to have clarity. We have to start from a place of clarity when we're talking about being determined to accomplish a goal. We have to set the mission and the purpose. And so we have to ask ourselves, what are the whys? Why is it so important that we make sure that our children are able to experience life, through their educational process and be able to achieve the highest level of excellence in whatever it is that they do. And so your mission really should be your tree trunk, right? It should be the core of what you expect from all of your family members, right? Whether you have multiple children, husband, wife, if it's just you, whoever, that's in the household, including grandparents or other family members, there should be a common core, which is our mission statement. That keeps us on the journey in alignment. And those are the non-negotiable things. Those are the things that we cannot compromise as a family. And a lot of those things tend to be our spirituality, right? Our morals, our values, and our traditions. All of those encompassed as a foundation of our African culture and of who we are. And so once that's established within the family, we then begin to move into our definition of success, right? A lot of times our definition of success is given to us by this Eurocentric European society, right? And the society tells us that success is mainly just connected to money, it's connected to, being able to attain a lot of materialistic things. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but what I'm saying is, true success stands in knowing who we are, having integrity, intergenerational wealth, which is the transmission of our culture, and our children loving who they are, knowing who they are so they can have the highest level of confidence and competence in whatever it is they're set out to do. And so this is extremely important because there's so many of our children who are just amazing. They're doing amazing things. However, they don't recognize the importance of utilizing their gifts to empower our community. So it's very easy for them to be bought off by organizations and companies that'll come in and pay them a little bit of money for their high level of expertise, right? And we see this all the time when we're looking on social media and all the young people that are doing great things from the continent throughout the whole diaspora, right? And they're just doing amazing things, but yet they are being paid off to give away for pennies just their, all of their creations and things like that. And then a lot of us still, as parents, we push our children in those directions because we feel like if they're in the hands of some corporate structure or entity that they'll be more successful. So it's important that we identify what is our definition of success and is it in alignment with what it means to be African. And in addition to that, I want to talk about, I'm a homeschool parent. Let me just say that I'm a homeschool parent of 20 plus years. I've put in over 80,000 hours of homeschooling. I've homeschooled my own 7 beautiful children as well as many others. And it has just been an amazing, powerful journey, magnificent journey, right? Just, it's allowed me to unfold as a mother, as a woman, as a sister in the community. It has given me the opportunity to examine self and go deeper and really take that time, not just that surface. A lot of times we stay on the surface and we're comfortable. We know we got our melanin, we know we come from kings and queens, and we stay stuck in that space, but we don't dive deeper into all of the little nuances, all of the fine details that will allow us to actualize our highest and greatest power and our highest and greatest good. And when we talk about excellence, we have to start from the foundation of that. When we talk about self-actualization, and not just talking about the greatness that we have, but giving our children an opportunity to maintain that, to create that, and then to maintain that. And through that process of homeschooling, I have been able to create my own reality within this reality that we exist in, right? And to be able to pass that to our children in an intergenerational way, where they are, when we're talking about their curriculum, we are not, it's a living curriculum. We're not just talking about worksheets and textbooks. We're talking about real life living, getting outside of the four walls, going out and touching. When we talk about science, what are we touching? The leaves, the trees as we walk on nature walks. Exploration, the children being able to have some self-directed learning and to be able to be scholars in that. So, to be able to teach them to go deeper. Yes, we're going to read about it. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to study about it. We're going to research. And in addition to that, we're going to go see. We're going to physically go see and experience. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm such a huge advocate of world schooling for those of us who can travel, even if it's just traveling within an hour from where you are. If you can't travel the world right now, being able to broaden the minds of yourself and your children, because they come to teach us just like we have come to teach them. It is a reciprocal process, and that's what's so beautiful about it. So it's not just about pouring everything we have into them and depleting ourselves. It is about making sure that we are still on our own divine journey, making sure that we're actualizing our own divine purpose. Our children need to see that. They need to see what that feels like. What does it look like? What are the challenges as well as the triumphs? They need to see that process, because in our African societies, socialization was how we taught each other. It was through being in the environment, through observing how we function and carrying on the practices and the traditions and the functions and roles within our community. And so it's just the same now with our children. We want to make sure that we're giving them the opportunity to touch down with those in the community. We have brothers and sisters in the community that are extended family, not just our blood family. Our blood family is equally as valuable. And for those who are in alignment, a lot of times with their blood family, it is a beautiful experience. And there's a lot of other scenarios where some families are not supportive of this African pathway, of this African lifestyle, right? This liberation lifestyle. And so with that, we also have to, reach out to our extended family, which is, those we know, love, and trust, who may not be blood family, but that is just another layer of family. So we have our core family, our extended family, and then we have our community family, right? And then we have our ancestors also that we can call on and ask to be in the space and surround us on this journey that we have chosen. I always say the path less traveled, right? Because so many of us are, we feel not equipped, I would say. There's a lot of us who feel as if we don't have what we need to raise our own children. And you do. You have everything. Just think about it. They ask for us to be their parents just as we've asked for them and called them forward to be our children. Even on a subconscious and on a spiritual level, there is a reason why we are here to guide them. And so with that being said, we have what we need inside of us, even if it's just being able to ask the right questions and to really, dissect our thinking, and being able to deliver an education as an experience and not just as the curriculum itself, right? The curriculum becomes you as the parent. Like, we are the curriculum. Anyone who educates our children, they are the curriculum, in addition to all of the other materials that they utilize in that process, right? So I also want to speak about, I have a very limited amount of time here, but I also want to just speak about how amazing, it is to be living in this time where we are awakening. We have the opportunity to create our own reality. Just thinking about that. Think about that on the highest degree and level of what it means, that we have the ability and we have the wherewithal and we have the resources around us, because we are our greatest resource, right? And our culture is our cure. Our culture will give us anything that we need, everything that we need, and all answers to any dilemma that we may feel we run up against. We are not made to do it alone, which is why this conference is so important, because it's about networking, it's about coming together, it's about building. And when we're building, we're seeking powerful relationships, because what I have, you may not have, and what you have, I may not have. And when we all put it together, it should be complementary to the overall goal, which is our African liberation. So when we're talking about determination, let that fill you. Let it be the wind beneath your wings to be able to take things on a higher level. And here at Liberated Minds, what we generally do is, we work with parents from all across the African diaspora, and we help them in this process because it is a learning process for us as well. I remember in the beginning when I first started homeschooling, and I didn't have a clue of how this thing was going to go, right? And there weren't many of us that were in the I would say in the limelight, or that I knew that were around that had chosen this pathway. And so I just began to do what intuitively I felt, which was to get outside. A lot of times we homeschooled in the park. We would go and sit up under the willow tree in Central Park. That's when I lived in New York City. And we would sit under the willow tree. And we had this spot that we just always would go to. And we'd study. And we'd go to the museums. And we utilize the resource. We go to lectures. And everything can be a curriculum. For instance, we recently took a trip to a state park, and we went kayaking. And after we went kayaking, it was just a day trip. Say, hey, let's go. We just got to get out the house. And so we took that opportunity to then turn around and do a lesson on buoyancy. The rest of that week, actually, we talked about buoyancy. Talked about some of those formulas. We talked about the indigenous origins of the kayak. We learned how they were made. We learned the different kinds of kayaks. It actually became the curriculum. So whatever it is that we're doing in this life, we can turn it into a curriculum. And whether you're homeschooling or not, homeschooling is my choice. However, I know that not everyone is going to homeschool, but we all have to homeschool on some level. So even if your children are in public school, they're in private school, like the curriculums being set by the institution, we also have to make sure that we have our list of things that, yes, from this time period to this time period, this is what's most important that I want my children to learn. And so please take the time. I'm going to give you a few steps. Make your list, number one, of the things that you deem as success, right? We talked about that. Create your mission statement, your family mission statement, which are the non-negotiables, and talk about that with your family. Have intimate conversations. And then also, make a list of the things that are important to you for your children to know, because that becomes your curriculum. It's not important for them to have a lot of information, just packing down information and memorization that has no purpose in their life or in our lives, even as a people. So just really being clear with what's important to you, and don't be afraid to go, outside of the things that are normally taught. I mean, we need to learn about economics. That's something that's not taught in the schools. Entrepreneurship. We need to have our own businesses. Our children need to interns. I know my children had internships. My older children, I have 7, so I have 3 still at home. But some of my older children were able to actualize what they love at a very young age through internships. And whether they were homeschooled or not, they were homeschooled, but yet there's always an opportunity to say, you know what, I see that this is an interest of yours. I see this is a passion of yours. And so I want to nurture that because that is your divine, one of your divine gifts, one of your divine purposes for why you've come here. And so the beautiful thing about that is you can do just that. You can pour into them. I know my son, he was able to actualize being a pilot at 16 because he showed that interest at 12 and we could see it. So we nurtured it. And, you know, my daughters and just being able to shower them with the joy and the love of learning. So I challenge you to make that list of the things that are most important to you. Seek out other people in the community who may do those things, who can be of insight. Maybe they can go interview them. Maybe they can spend a day with them. Touch base with other people to gain those resources, and definitely touch base with Liberated Minds as well. So please, I welcome you to join our website, which is liberatedmindsinstitute.com. We are based here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we welcome African families from throughout the diaspora to come and to share your talents, your gifts, and your love, because we are a community that supports the well-being of African people. So with that being said, I will talk to you soon. I'm sending much love to all of you. My name is Queen Taese, and I will talk to you soon. Much love.